Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Rough Draft of Randomness podcast. I am your host, the DMan. And today, it's our first episode. Well, technically first video episode. I got bonus prequel video episodes. That's of us unboxing our 100 comic mystery boxes. And I'm using those as a roadmap for this podcast, where I will be reading each one of those. So 300 something comics, because we actually got a fourth box. There's an unboxing video coming soon. I mean, it's already recorded. I just haven't posted it yet because I wanted to actually record a real episode. So this is the first episode of the Rough Draft of Randomness podcast reboot. So the Rough Draft of Randomness podcast initially started as an audio-only podcast hosted on the Comic-Con Radio Network. I saw a post on Instagram saying, "Hey, do you want a podcast?" I said, "Yeah, actually, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I would love to try it." And what better to freaking talk about than comics? I'm a freaking nerd. Deadpool shirt. What up? Spidey towel in the background. If this was actually in my old school room, there'd be so much more nerddom on the walls. But, circumstances and also audio recording purposes, we're in the bathroom. Anyway, am I unveiling too much? Who knows? Am I rambling too fast? Who knows? Leave a message in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So anyway, it was an audio-only podcast to begin with. I did 5 episodes. So basically I recanted kind of different stories that I read. I did one about Last Ronin and the first issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the old school one. Which I then later actually got to meet Kevin Eastman, which was super cool. Check one off the list. I also did an episode where I talked about how I took my little son to go meet Rob Liefeld, creator of Deadpool, and how he was super cool. And it was just a local comic shop. And we got to actually hang out with him. He interacted with him. We actually recorded a video and took a picture and posted it on his Instagram. Pretty neat. So, however, I had to hit pause. I could only record so much. My 6th episode I recorded, I ran out of steam. It will never see the light of day. Unless there's enough requests in the comments. I mean, hey, release the unreleased episode. Post that in the comments and maybe it'll be released. As for the other audio only, I want to re-release them, maybe with some cool graphics or whatever, or just some BS. So if anybody actually cares and wants to listen, they can check it out. There is a link in my Instagram, @the1DMan on Instagram. Check that out. I'll put a link also in the comments to my feed that is on Comic-Con Radio. But I'm back with a vengeance. I brought my little my sidekick with me, and me and him, we opened 3 different mystery boxes with 100 comics each. One was Marvel themed, one was DC themed, and one was Image themed. Well, independent, Image, IDW, all that kind of stuff. And so, I'm going to read one of each of those comics, and then report back to you. And so I did. And then it's taken me about 2 months to actually sit my butt down in this chair and talk to you and elbow my laptop in the process. That's what that bang was. So, there's time, place where it's quiet. When you got 2 kids around, it's hard for quiet. And it's hard to be like, I want to record a podcast about comic books. Can you guys be quiet? I'm trying to be serious. I'm not really serious. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm not serious at all. I actually tend to go into some random voices every once in a while. Like Venom. Because Venom was the first voice that I perfected. So listen here, Spider. We're coming for you. Random. That's why it's called the Rough Draft of Randomness, because we go from bounce to bounce to bounce to bounce to bounce. Now, the first of the comics that I read, and I actually reread it multiple times because I was like, oh man, I need to record that video, let me reread it. So I got it down. I reread it at least 3 times. Was The Flash, number 329, stare into the eyes of Gorilla Grodd's secret weapon, Flash, if you dare. So this is the Flash issue 329, featuring Gorilla Grodd, who apparently can shapeshift. They didn't show that in the Flash Flash show. I was gonna say Flash cartoon, but they're like, it's not the cartoon. I'm talking about good old freaking Grant Gustin. Flash, CW. Great show. One of them. Again, random, sorry. So this issue was a filler issue. There was nothing significant that necessarily happened in this issue. However, let me recap it for you. So it started off with Grodd starting to recruit some people. He shows that he's basically transformed. He hops in this magic hot tub, or massive hot tub. And he's just hanging out. Oh, actually, sorry, yeah. See, there's Grodd transformed a car. So the stolen cop car actually looks more like a regular, just Trans Am or whatever. And then it shows Flash at the Justice League. So apparently, a precursor to this episode, or this issue, I'm going to flip between calling an episode and issue, because I just talked about the show, so now I'm all jumbled in my own head. Randomness, welcome for it. So, stay on track. So he's at the Justice League because he's on trial, because the Flash killed Reverse Flash. Allegedly, apparently, tried to dig a little bit into it, but ADD, it happens. So from this issue, though, basically he's on trial with the Justice League, and Superman has the final vote to determine whether or not you should remain a member of the Justice League or you're gone. And he basically says, given the circumstances, it is understandable the actions that he took, he still should remain a member under probation, essentially. Flash's like, I don't care. I'm on trial for manslaughter right now. Being a part of Justice League is the least of my concerns. So then he tries to find this lawyer friend of his, which apparently the lawyer friend needed help because his brake lines or something got cut, or he just basically didn't hit the brakes in time. Something happened, basically his car went off the cliff. Flash, though, however, going to see him already, caught him, saved him, goes, oh, actually, I'm a friend of Barry's, he recommended you highly. And so while everybody's trying to seek the Flash as their client and basically get that trial of the century, because if they get off the Flash, they're the lawyer who got the Flash off. But instead he goes with this small town lawyer who used to be his buddy in college. And then there's this like teenager kid, the one who was basically on the cover, who is trying to do right and not get into gang stuff, but then the henchman that was hanging out with Grodd early on come and see him, and are like, no, we got plans for you. And Grodd takes over his mind. He basically spouts out to his mom in a way that he would have never had he not been under Grodd's control. And then he just was like, I'm out. Leave me alone. And so he then is going to go try to find the Flash, and then that's pretty much where this issue ends. So it's basically building up to a confrontation between Grodd and the Flash, in between using this kid as his way to steal Flash's power or hurt Flash in some way. He doesn't necessarily dive into too much. But yeah. And then Flash, actually, his lawyer buddy has this house that they kind of at least seek shelter in for now and are safe and away from judgment and people, and for now, the persecution. So that was from the DC box, obviously, the Flash, DC. Next up, from the Marvel box, we got Punisher, 2099, number 5. Now, I picked this one. I mostly picked these comics kind of random. This one, I believe, was one of the early first ones that we actually grabbed. So I thought it would be cool to read one of the first ones that we actually opened in the unboxing videos. Again, if you haven't watched the unboxing videos, they're super fun. It's more than just me being boring and talking to you by myself. I got a little freaking 5-year-old who's full of energy, and there's a moment when we find a cover with some booty on it, and it's pretty funny. It's actually, that clip is in the shorts. If you want to go just check out that, check out my shorts. Don't eat my shorts, though. I ain't Bart. Not too much. Okay. So, however, this Punisher, Punisher 2099, it is not obviously Frank Castle because it is 2099. Frank Castle is long gone. This is Jake Gallows. He's a weapons specialist in the public eye policing force. By day and at night, he's incorruptible justice. Wow. I like an old Mario world ad. With the first Mario video movie. Wow. Random. That's gonna be my go-to when I stumble and mumble. I'm just gonna be like, random. Maybe not. So, basically, it shows off Punisher. Somebody comes in, a group of henchmen come in, and they're basically attacking his lair. They're attacking his sidekick. He comes in, guns blazing, and basically stands up to the dude holding the gun to his forehead, going, "Go ahead, I dare you." Seriously, in that tone too. Like, this Punisher is psycho. I mean, I'm not as familiar with Punisher as I am, obviously, with Spider-Man, being one of the #1 Spider-Man fan-mans, as KUSI designated me back in the day, and I still like to claim that title. You want a random tangent? Let's go for a random tangent for a second before we continue with Punisher. So, back about 2003, the very first, actually not first, but it was like one of the early free comic book days. It was when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was coming out. I was at a local comic shop in my nice Venom Carnage button-up polo, standing in line. News was there, and I got interviewed. And I talked about how I love Spider-Man, why, and all that jazz. And then my caption was, Spider-Man, Fan-Man. So that's my title. Now, back to the tangent at hand. So he's going in there, basically telling him, do it, punk, like freaking super psycho. Sorry for those listening audio only. I'm showing some of this stuff to add some visual elements so people have a reason to watch. So don't forget to like and subscribe to YouTube and check it out. Oh, here he is. See, straight up has him holding the gun to his head. Going, do it! Come on, dog breath! Shoot me! And then he doesn't. They're like, dude, this dude's crazy. And they basically walk and leave away. Then pretty much he goes on to be Punisher. His psychiatrist comes in kind of looking after him. She basically hears him beating up this dude in the basement. But he stops her before he had like the Batcave almost type thing. And so she actually found her way in there, starting to go down the staircase, and he runs up the staircase, intercepts her before she could see the whole like dude he has kind of holding down there. Dude, he just beat the rip out of. But he does that, and then she's like, you got a lot of issues going on, and wants to kind of counsel him, because he does have similar backstory to Frank Castle where he lost his family and stuff like that. So he actually turned it and went super hard and went even super psycho on her. It was like, what do you think I am, Punisher going on? It was right, I am Punisher. I am killing people today. They're like, whoa, all right, I'm sorry. Shouldn't come in here accused of anything like that. And so he basically threw her off the scent. And then a cool element for this Punisher 2099 that I thought at least was he has this armor. It's kind of like if you have a Matrix bodysuit. So Matrix, you plug in, teach me Kung Fu, boom, Neo learned Kung Fu. He basically was able to program all these different fighting styles, techniques, things like that into the suit, and then the exoskeleton basically enhanced his ability, helped guide him strategically through battle and stuff like that. And so that was a really cool aspect that I thought of the Punisher 2099. Issue number 5. We got through 2 of 300, actually 400 mystery comics so far. Now, first drink. Now, we'll get into the third comic book. This one was from the Independent box. I've been trying, I don't know, what do you guys suggest? Should I go ahead and just pick random comics from the boxes? Or should I pick, like, if there's a story like 1, 2, 3, chronologically do this with that? Because this one, there's a 1 and 2 of, so I might do 2 for the next episode. This is Maskerade, number 1, and I picked this one because it was a Kevin Smith joint. I am a Kevin Smith fan. I've actually seen them live, I think once, maybe twice. But I saw James and Bob Get Old, where Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes were there, and it was pretty legit. But this one was interesting. So there's, it's just like, it's kind of like a setup. This like chick shows up, this chick dies, she's thrown off the edge. It's basically like, so the whole story, the concept behind it, let me just read the preface because it kind of tells you. So basically, in the mid-'80s, a $5 million ad campaign touted Trenton as the next San Francisco. They basically put TV spots, all this stuff. But then there was a crime war within the city. Government became a tsunami. Trenton was forced to declare bankruptcy in 1991. Since then, the pretty city by the bay is now the shitty city by the bay. And it basically starts off with like a hooker stabbing some dude. And so it's basically a downtrodden society. Sort of Sin City-esque in that aspect, but then it also starts off with like a guy getting caught fucking a dude's wife, and it was his boss. And then basically there's this mass killer going around, slicing people up and taking down like high government people. It was very interesting. It was kind of cool. The dude steals, so the masked chick also steals her face with his technology that she has. So she steals the dude's face, she goes in, like, slaughters everybody, but then she has the guy's face. It's pretty creepy and weird, but, you know, it was very interesting, it was a good read. I'm interested in reading number 2. I don't have as much to talk about that one as I do about some of the other ones. But those were the 3 random comic books that I read from the random mystery boxes. But we're not done. No. This is the Rough Draft of Randomness podcast, and the randomness keeps on coming. So I started this whole podcast thing off on the Comic Con radio network because I am also a comic convention advocate, goer, frequenter. And one of the last Comic Cons that I went to was Comic Con Revolution in Ontario, California. Shout out! And I picked up this very interesting comic book, graphic novel, actually. Sorry, this is going to sound shitty. Next time, make sure the comics are out before I start. Note to self. Now this. So I was waiting in line, getting autographs by Amanda Connors and Jimmy Pamelato. His name's a little confusing. I always forget. It's like P-I-M-A-L-L-U-T-T-O or something like that. But amazing artist. Apologies for screwing the shit up out of your name. But I was waiting in line for them to get some autographs. And this dude was at his booth selling like a mofo. He had so much hustle and heart in him. He was trying to get everybody's attention. He was trying to tell them, can I tell you about the new character of our universe? Trying to give them, he gave them a rundown. So I mentioned him, no. This was on Saturday, I saw him. I wanted to go back there. So before we left on Sunday, circled back and I said, One, I gotta give you props. You are one of the best salesmen around here. You're a great pitchman. Let me hear it firsthand. So he told me about the Tap Dance Killer. The song turned, I think, Broadway play, turned comic book. And it's the story of 3 actors. Basically, this magical potion turns them into characters for real. And this Nikki St. Clair becomes the Tap Dance Killer, along with Punchline, the very huge boxer turned clown, and a few other people. They go on this crime spree, and it was a very fun read, and it was I highly recommend checking out Tap Dance Killer. Heroes Tomorrow Comics. Ted Sikora was the writer that I met there, and it was really good, really cool artwork, really fun, really neat story, something a little different than what I'm used to. And with that, I hit my 20-minute mark that I was going for. And I am now, finally, the DMan has recorded his first episode of the Rough Draft of Randomness podcast. And if you ain't down with that, we got 2 words for you. Like and subscribe. Bye. Peace.